we're circling around something that's very important, I think, and everyone's kind of supplied the facts of what we're really talking about here, which is that there's been a unequivocal identifying that over the last 20 years, the pharmaceutical companies have inappropriately manipulated the information necessary to limit the amount of pain medications to be prescribed, and just the opposite happened, and it was encouraged. It became, a philosophy for more empathy of doctors, and pain is real, and a complete turn from the way that those kind of issues had been leading up into the 70s, mid 70s, where you see this identifiable, and the number of prescription medications that were being approved by the DEA, pharmaceutical companies making money, and all the variations of these areas where there were treatments and no limitations. So, and they've admitted as recent as 2018 that they made mistakes. The information provided by the research and development of the prescription medications did not lead on to the severity of the addiction, and it reflects. So, these are the same. Government put forth the policies about marijuana, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, how could it be that the prescription problem in our country is so great if the government wasn't allowing it to take place? I mean, this didn't happen in a vacuum or by a few bad actors. I mean, you've got, the biggest, largest companies in the world essentially having their way with the U.S. citizens in a way that, creates. Ready for this?
They should be ashamed of themselves in every aspect.
It's part of the assembly line for the industrial complex. At some point they get cut off, some point they get run into the ground, some point they start seeking other drugs. Got to make sure those drugs are illegal, because then we can lock them up. It's nice and tight. See all that? Yeah. It's actually, I don't know. I mean, it's if it sounds conspiratorial, I don't know that it could, I don't know that it's, how could it happen?
It's
I mean,
just
we're talking
reality.
talking like licensed, regulated operators,
happened.
right? Doctors,
right. It's crazy, but it's true.
And I do think that we moved from a different time there, where, as it said, this has been one of the things I think people complain, that most of the ways in which they find traditional medicine, and I'm not knocking traditional medicine at all. There's a lot of things that can only be fixed by traditional medicine, unequivocally. And I am not. However, there are some ways in which some things that are treated in such a way, there's some advice or not advice that's given in consultations that are not always in the patient's medical best interest, or there's other solutions outside of the traditional treatments. Nevertheless, I think one of the go-to moves, or what has been trained, and I feel the impact of pharmaceutical companies, is the concept of treatment. They're not curing, but treatment. And this led to the chronic pain treatment and the opioid crisis that we're living through right now.